Okay, let's call to order this Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District Board of Directors meeting number 1415 of the Board of Directors. And Ralph, will lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mr. Cannon, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jen, will you roll call?
Chair Mounts.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Carhart.
here.
Director Irwin.
Here.
Director O'Farrell.
Here.
Director Tamani. Here. All present.
Excellent. Looks like we do have two presentations. And 4.1, presentation of the 2022 year-end report.
All right. Good evening, Board of Directors. My name is Nick Davis, I'm Recreation Manager. I do have a slideshow that we will get up here in a second. The Recreation Department comes to you twice a year for a report on what they have going on, kind of their highlights that they have achieved throughout the year. So I'll be doing the 22-year review today. Once this gets fired up. Oh, am I supposed to click it? The green button, oh, there it is.
Oh, there.
Sorry about that. All right. Where do I point this in? There you go. All right. So many of you may have seen already that the Park District put together a 22-year in review publication. That publication was spearheaded by Recreation Supervisor Sabrina Bernardo. She, along with the other departments, compiled the information to highlight what we did in 2022. I'm not going to go through the entire document tonight. I'm just going to highlight the Recreation Department's achievements and a few other things that may not be in there. But that document that was produced was shared to the community via email blast, social media, and is on our website. So it really is a great thing to highlight to let the community knows what we do throughout the year. So something I see us doing as the years progress. All right. So a few new parks in 2022 that came on board was Gum Ranch. Gum Ranch consists of 2 playgrounds, open grass space, trails, and the ever so popular splash pad, and then 2 rentable picnic pavilions. That park is heavily utilized, especially in the summer months, with the splash pad. Always people out there utilizing it, so it's a great amenity to the community. And then Jim Strang Park actually was 2021, but it was the latter part of 2021. I don't think it was highlighted, so I want to make sure that we highlighted it. It is one of Mike's favorite parks. He has told me that numerous times for its size, and what it offers to the community is really tremendous. And also the fact that it is solar powered and low water use park. And then also one of the coolest things I think it is about that park is that subsurface there, the pour and play / turf is a really neat thing to see in a park. A little more appealing to the eye than just a regular pour and place. And that park too is very much utilized throughout the days. You always see kids playing on the different features that are there. It mainly consists of balance and climbing features. And now some recreation programs. So I want to give you some numbers on some of our programs. So we had 495 registrants for our ever so popular summer camp. That summer camp is really one of my son's highlights of the summer because he attends it and absolutely loves it. All the activities and sports and games that they play, they're just really, really fun to keep the kids engaged, and my son looks forward to going every day, which is hard to convince him to do anything sometimes. So it's really exciting that he gets to go to one of the things that we put on and absolutely adores. The staff do an amazing job with it each and every year. We had 36 preschoolers in 2022, and we always get just tremendous feedback from the parents and how well that organized that program is and how great the teachers are and the staff. So kudos to all the staff for such a great preschool we put on for the community. We had 17 junior NFL flag football teams. The team pictured there, the Fair Oaks Vikings, actually went on to an area-wide tournament to compete against other park districts and won the area championship title for the 11 to 13 division.
Hey, Nick, do we have any female teams this year?
We do not, but we do have, as you can probably see in that picture, that it is a co-ed league. So we do have females that do participate in the league.
Good.
And to be quite honest, they're usually some of the best players in the team. So
Maybe
without a doubt.
next year you have an all-female league, or
It
all-female
might not be
team.
fair to the boys though, so probably. But yes, absolutely. We had 50 adult softball teams play in our league, and then we had 20 Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board members doing amazing things for our community and service projects throughout the Fair Oaks area.
Quick question about preschool. What's the waiting list look like at this point?
I'm going to defer that to Chelsea.
It's pretty intensive at this point. So hopefully we're gonna gear up and be able to take more students next year and then offer the afternoon class again. We changed some times to fit kind of the feedback that we've received from the community that work better for families. So hopefully we'll be able to fill that and have more families in school. We're always looking at ways, we typically run a 20 student class. This year we're running both programs at around 21, 22. But as we learn the stuff, we try to add.
Thanks, Chelsea. And just to highlight that picture there on the right-hand side, that's FOIA. They are making hygiene bags and Christmas cards for seniors to distribute. So really cool thing they did this year. All right, special events. I would say special events is the heartbeat of the Fair Oaks community. They are very well attended and very well loved by all of the Fair Oaks residents. As you can see there, we had 22,000 event attendees at our events. So we reached quite a few people throughout the Fair Oaks and the greater area for our events. So it really shows that people do enjoy what we put on to the community. We had 20 plus events in 2022, and why I say 20 plus is because we have some events that are a series, such as Constantine Park, Comedy, Farmers Market, and then all the Fair Oaks, Christmas and Fair Oaks events that we do. So a lot of events happen throughout the year. If you think about, 12 months in the year, we're at least doing probably a couple per month, which is pretty awesome. And then we can't do it without our volunteers. Volunteers really, really help us be able to put on the events that we do and make them, even bigger than what we could do as a staff. So we have 260 plus hours of volunteer service at our events and in the park district too. Some of that's not captured there would be like our community partner groups. So like Family Free Ride that works in the bike park, our little leagues, our soccer clubs, all of them also do some volunteer work to put back into the park amenities that's not captured in those volunteer hours. So if we capture that, we're probably in the thousands. So pretty tremendous on what this community does to volunteer and make our parks incredible, as well as our events. New events for 2022. We had the Kids Big Business Expo, where kids would make their own products and sell them at their booths. We had kids selling slime, jewelry, apparel, facial masks, a number of different things. And it was really cool. This young girl right here in pink, she had apparel, aprons, and facial masks, and all of her proceeds went to feeding the homeless. She donated her money that she makes from all of their products. So really, really cool that we have some entrepreneurs here at Fair Oaks, and hope to see that event grow even more here in 2023. Gum Ranch Fall Festival, that was a sold-out event at Gum Ranch, which is a new park this year, as I mentioned. We had a train rides there, a mini farmer's market, crafts, games, and a pumpkin patch as well. Great event for the community there, and looks forward to
Train
it.
rides were really popular.
The train rides, yeah,
I
oh,
want
yeah,
to see more of those.
absolutely, absolutely. And the Pumpkin Palooza was a result of the Gum Ranch Fall Festival. We had some leftover pumpkins, and instead of throwing them away, staff decided to come up with an event called Pumpkin Palooza. With 24-hour notice, they informed the community of an event that we're going to have at Montview Park, where we get to roll the pumpkins down the hill, race them and crash them into different things, and just have fun with the pumpkins. And there's also a trick-or-treat trail there. So really kind of cool that the community responded within 24 hours of an advertisement for an event, and it was really fun. It's cool to see.
How many people came to that?
50?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Better question is, are we gonna have pumpkins growing in?
I actually hope so.
That's fun.
That would be kind of cool.
Pumpkins.
And then we also did a summer preview event. This was the first one as well in 2022. So it was in conjunction with the Food Truck Mania and car show that we have. And it was just a way to advertise what we have going on in the summer, and an opportunity for people to register on site for programs. And if they did so, they would get a discount for doing so on site that day. So we'll do that again here in 2023. And then lastly is the Farmers Market, which is every Tuesday mornings at Fair Oaks Park. All right, so facility rentals. We saw a large increase in facility rentals in 2022. We had 185 barbecue picnic rentals throughout the year, which is a tremendous number considering we only have 5 rentable picnic areas, and I would say only really 4 of them are rented. We have one that doesn't get rented too much just because it doesn't have too much seating and occupancy. So do credit a lot of that to Gum Ranch Park because it is 2 covered picnic pavilions plus the splash pad. We probably had about 50 to 70 birthday parties out there in 2022. So that was really, really fun to see. And then we have an uptick in rentals for our tennis courts as well as our sports fields. So a lot of that was due to staff coming up with a digital form, making it really easy for customers to rent the facilities. The days of the old PDF, handwriting it, bringing it by the office or emailing it. We got rid of that and made it a lot easier for the customers. And we're also even trying to make it even more easier for the customers in 2023 and making it completely automated where they can fill it out all online and pay without having to wait for staff to respond. Staff will still review it. It is in a pilot stage right now, but we're trying to make it as easy as we can for customers to be able to rent with us and have their gatherings. And let's see. Classes.
Do we have rental on either the tennis courts or the pickleball court?
We do on the tennis courts. The pickleball court, we have not implemented a rental program on that yet. We do have a class that occurs there, but we do not have currently a reservation system for that yet. Yeah, but we do get it. So just kind of like I was talking before, an automated way to rent the tennis courts. We do have that. So people can actually rent in advance for the courts, and then they can view the calendar via QR code at the court to see who may have those reserved. So that was, I think we started that in mid-2021, and we've seen our rentals really jump up because of that feature out there in the tennis courts. Classes, so we had 1,333 people participate in a FORPD offered class. That may or may not sound good to you, but that is a number that we want to increase. We offered a variety of programs throughout the year, and I think we offer a good variety, from health and wellness to dance to arts to sports. We do have a number of different opportunities. One thing that we have come to realize is maybe we were offering a little bit too many options or too many sessions, and the cancellation rate was a little higher than we would like to see. So you'll see here on the next page, this is probably the one side that's not the most glamorous side, but I think it's important to show, where areas that we also want to improve as well. And classes is something we definitely want to improve. They haven't really recovered from the pandemic as much as we would like. So you can see that we did, cancel a number of classes, unfortunately. But those numbers are a little bit skewed when you look at the total classes offered, because those are based off of sessions, not individual class types. Like some classes would have 10 to 15 sessions, because it would be a session every week or whatnot. So we did, generate a decent amount of revenue, but it's definitely revenue that we want to increase, and we are going to have a large focus on marketing, on getting those classes filled and having a much lower cancellation rate.
Can you give an example of a class that ran a lot longer, like you're saying, like a 12, 14?
Yeah, so for example, it would be like our dog obedience class. I mean, we had 1 to 2 offerings every Sunday. And the way that class was set up, it wasn't a series of classes. You signed up individually for each class. So if those were not running, then you're looking at like 30 plus a month. They're doing 2.
But it wasn't, so did you have to go to the class this week to go to the class next week, or they were all the same ones, we just had a lot of sessions?
Exactly, a lot of the same ones, a lot
Or
of
was it
sessions.
like part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just
It was not.
one?
It was all one.
So then are you guys looking at that as far as?
We are.
Okay.
So we're going to reduce the number of offerings for 2023. We already did a little bit for the winter, spring, but we're going to do it more as we progress in the summer and fall. Reducing the amount of offerings, so there's not so many registrations spread out. We want to condense them to a narrower funnel to where the classes fill and then we're running our classes rather than canceling.
I think too, it would be beneficial, as you said, it kind of does look skewed, to see more like what offerings were actually, had versus like 0 participation. Because right, it looks like, oh, we just didn't have anything, but it wasn't at those sessions. So
Yeah.
to actually see a true number, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to share that.
That'd be great.
Yes.
So when a class is canceled, the instructor doesn't show, doesn't get paid?
That's correct. We inform the instructor that they've been having enrollments. So one of our focuses too, to get those classes filled, is going to be marketing. I'll show you the next slide, some marketing focus that we're going to have moving forward, but just want to kind of show you what we currently have in 2022. We had 100,000 people view our website. It's a pretty substantial number. If you are not aware, we're going to be redesigning our website. So our website is going to be much easier to navigate and able to assist people in registering for programs, which we will tell you more about the website at a future meeting. And then we had an increase in Facebook followers. We added 526 followers, bringing us to 5,600 in 2022. And then we had an increase in Instagram followers of 320, bringing us to 1,600. So we have a pretty good social media reach. We're working on the best ways to reach all those on social media. Mary is in charge of our social media, and she is kind of seeing what the engagement is on those posts and what works the best and getting the best on our return. And she's finding, more pictures or videos, less text, is really increasing that engagement. One of the highest engagements we had was something we just kind of put out there because of the storm, and it was Rick Zerlo sawing up a tree. That had one of the most engagements that we've had on any of our posts. So that just tells us something, well, maybe we need to switch up a little bit on how we post on social media. Maybe it's not necessarily just having information for a class, more engagement stuff. So that's what Mary and Sabrina are looking at to see how we can really reach our audience for social media. Let's see.
You probably don't have metrics on it, but since we quit having a mailed roost, do we have any idea if we're missing people because there isn't some kind of mailing, some kind of postal thing?
Yes, so we do have some data. It's hard to have data really far back because we switched registration systems to know exactly how many people were signing up for programs when we had a mailer of an activity guide, or were we doing a digital guide or the postcard. But we do have some data, and actually Sabrina and I were just looking at it recently, and it wasn't overwhelming that the activity guide increased registrations. It may have a little bit, but it wasn't overwhelmed as much as we thought it would. So we're looking at
if
different
there's a
ways.
hybridized way of doing this, like, postcards with a
QR code
thing
or
you
something
can
like
scan,
that.
yeah.
So we did do postcards this last activity guide that went out to the residents, and it did have a QR code on it. So
Is there a way
also-
to track how many people might be?
So we can't track it from the QR code currently. We didn't do this last time, right? Am I
Yeah.
correct?
So how it worked this last time is the QR code that we used was pretty much the same QR code for all things. So the tracking was not, you couldn't go back and look at the analytics for each QR code based on where you scanned it from. So moving forward to the next activity guide, we've proposed with Nick that we're still in the terms of doing this, is to pay for one of those QR code generators where you can look at the analytics. So each individual place that we put the QR code out to, we'll be able to scan. So we'll use a unique one for the postcard, a unique one for San Juan Unified School District flyers, a unique one for senior flyers, and then like a unique one for maybe like event stuff. And then Mary on back end can also track when we can't use a QR code. So like the actual link in social media, the link in email blast. That way we can go back to the drawing board after and say, hey, 80% of people scan the QR code on the postcard, but nobody's scanning the QR code on the, 500 flyers that we're putting out. So we're trying to decipher like what method of communication and what platform is going to be the best. So we're going to do that with unique QR codes
I
this
think
next
that'd
time
be
around.
very valuable and probably
Yeah, for sure.
save money in wasted ways of getting.
Exactly, yep,
I'm guessing the cost is probably pretty nominal to generate those.
yeah, exactly.
So we were able to see some data from the postcards through the program issue, which is how the PDF layout of our activity guide. We can see how many views we have a given day or a week. And the week that the postcard went out with the QR code, we did see an uptick in people viewing the activity guide. So it was beneficial. But yeah, we'll hopefully get those numbers dialed in a little bit better as we move forward.
Yeah, I assume it would be targeted too, if you're trying to do something with the young kids.
Exactly.
You may get something better on social media. If you want to get the
Sure.
old people like me to a class or something, postcard.
knock on
your
door.
Yeah, come
Yes.
down.
Yeah, then another thing we rolled out here for our latest guide, our winter guide here for 2023, we did it in December, was SMS text messaging. So you may have gotten a text message saying the activity guide was released. You'd have to be in our system to get that, so you'd have to have previously signed up with us for a class or enrolled in one of our subscription lists. But it went out to 1,200 people, so it's just another way to get the activity guide out, especially when we're not printing. So we're looking at other ways to reach our residents through digital ways that we do not decide to print. So we do have an extensive list that we're looking at, and we're going to evaluate if we're going to be printing again or not. So. And another thing as far as analytics too, Mary is starting to use a new program. I forget the actual name of it. Loomly, there you go. If you're familiar with like Hootsuite, it's a program that you can put your social media into, and it shoots it out to different platforms like Facebook, Instagram, all at once, and it gives you really good analytics of who viewed it and how long they viewed it for, and if they interacted by clicking on it. So it's a really great program. It also helps keep people organized and schedule out posts too. So that's good for us as well. So we've been talking a little bit about marketing. So marketing is our focus. So if you don't know already, Mary is still in the recreation department, but she's been doing our marketing for the past few years, kind of 50% marketing, 50% programming. She's moved more to about 90% marketing, 10% programming, to really focus on increasing our registration numbers. So we've dubbed her Marketing Mary, and she is already doing great things for us, and she's established new protocols and ways to improve our marketing. She's spicing an uptick in email blasts coming through. She's branding those and put a lot of great information in for those email blasts. And she's looking at ways to engage with the community a little bit more. As you can see, the Valentine's thing that she did right there, she put a number of those little Valentine's cards of Rocky out, just to kind of interact again with the community, kind of like the whole chainsaw the tree, cutting up the tree, just to get people to look at it in a different way than just a class with descriptions and registration dates. So definitely a huge focus on marketing moving forward. She's doing a lot more with videos, which I think is really cool. As a pop-up engagement event is what she'll be working on too. And then again, the whole data-driven approach is what we're going to be looking at to see what exactly is the best methods of reaching our community.
Talking about reaching out to the community, you know, I've always felt like people that want to do something should come to us first. Is there any way to engage other recreational things in the commercial area? You know, people that want to kayak or people that want to do, you know, some other thing that's commercially offered,
Yeah.
that we could generate some revenue or some finder's fee or something
I think there is. You know, I
connecting
don't have
through
the
ours.
exact answer of what that is right now, but I know it's something that Mary is looking into, different avenues to attract people with specific interests. So, yeah, that's something we're doing. And so the Fair Oaks Chamber of Commerce puts on an event called Best of Fair Oaks, and it's also a voting thing by the community where the community gets to vote on their favorite businesses, restaurants, activities, etc. We were nominated for a number of categories, and we took home 5 awards, kind of 6. But those 5 are listed there. We won Best Event for the Chicken Festival. Best Park was Fair Oaks Park. And then Best Youth Activity Center and Sports is this Fair Oaks Park District. Same thing with Youth Activity Center, Fair Oaks Park District, and Best Recreation in the Park District as well. This was highlighted at their Best of Fair Oaks Gala last month. And it was a really awesome time for the board members as well. And the one that you don't see there that we co-run with the chamber is Conscious of the Park, which also won Best Entertainment.
I hope we never lose in the category of best park.
Let's hope not. Asking for a lot of resignation.
Maybe Mount Vernon or something like that.
And that's all I have. Any questions?
Awesome.
Very good.
Where was the kids' big business?
That was at Fair Oaks Park.
Fair Oaks Park. I love that idea. That's great.
It was a lot, it was really great.
Yeah.
Had a lot of media coverage for that.
I bet,
So,
yeah.
like a ton, so.
I mean, it's something just outside the box, but has so many real world teachings in there. That's great.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Just a quick thing on that, you know, we all see parks when we're out and about, and a lot of people in the community see parks. The only way you see recreation is if you participate specifically in a program. So it's nice to be able to have this opportunity to share what recreation does. It's almost kind of an out of sight type of program that we operate. So anyway, thank you for that and take that time.
Yeah, great. Okay. Item 4.2, presentation on the Dinner in the Garden event.
Perfect.
Good evening, Board of Directors. My name is Danielle Whitmore. I'm the Arts and Entertainment Manager for Fair Oaks Recreation and Park District. I am really pleased to present to you some expanded information about the dinner in the garden. And you have it in front of you, but more importantly, I would like to introduce you to two of our lovely volunteers. We have probably 7 of the most dynamic groups of people, and that last page on your packet shows you all 6 people. We just had a new person join us recently today that has joined in the efforts to put this garden dinner together. So I'm pleased to introduce one of our co-leads, which is Melissa Hermanson, and she's going to speak a little bit, and then our other team member, which is Jennifer Webb, and they're going to give you a little bit more information about the event, and hopefully get you excited to be with us. Go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Melinda Hermanson, and I'm a realtor, and I live in Fair Oaks, but I'm also an artist. And so which kind of drove me to become a volunteer for this purpose, is just wanting to improve arts education and arts in general in the area. So we have this dinner that we are working on, which we are going to be doing on May 13th at the Horticulture Center. And we are opening, we're getting ready to sorry you guys, I did not know I was going to be doing this right now. So we're getting ready to do ticket sales. They're going to start March 1st. And so you guys have examples of our sponsorship letter, our matrix. You can see what we're looking for, what we're going after. We are going to be doing the dinner, and we were going to have, let's see here. We're going to be doing open doors, which is an arts where we're going to have artists create doors. We're going to be auctioning off those doors at the event. We're going to do commemorative champagne flutes for the events. We're going to have master gardeners there. As you stroll through the gardens, you can kind of learn a little bit more about the garden itself. We'll be doing the dinner itself out in the garden. We'll have a couple different sources of, a couple different bands playing. We have the Jane Thompson Trio, a jazz ensemble right now, and then we will also be doing a charity event. And we would like to invite anybody who wants to join us, and we hope you guys make it out there. And then Jennifer's going to talk about our charity.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Jennifer Webb, and I've been a resident of Fair Oaks for about 20 months. I just moved here, and we came to the area, and we wanted to move to the Sacramento area, and we picked Fair Oaks, largely because of the village, what it has, the walkability, and of course, what it's going to become. And so I'm a musician in addition to a sales and business development person. So it was natural for me to get involved with this activity, plus Mike recruited me. And so I love doing these types of events, and I think it's going to be really fun, and I'm looking forward to just getting to know more people through it. It's already been really good. So 2 of the areas that I'm specifically helping on this group is the business sponsorships. And I invite anybody here that's got connections that would like to help us with this. We've got a strong group of people reaching out. We're trying to raise about $40,000 worth of underwriters basically for the event. And so we just got all of our materials, which you see. We've handed out a letter explaining it, and then the matrix of the marketing benefits that they will get. So we are optimistic that we'll be able to exceed our goal. And then as soon as we get that under wraps, the next part I'm going to help with is our charity event, which is a CHAIR, the part of it. It's a fund a need. If anybody's familiar with that format at galas, often you can have specific items that you're trying to raise money for. And so people can purchase a chair or more than one chair for the Black Box Theater. And so we're still fleshing out the details and possibly other things that are not possible to fund with the bond itself. So we're just trying to, kind of enrich, in addition to all the underwriting of the artists that we're bringing in. This is really going to help, I think, give the event a little bit more boost. And people who don't participate actually at the event can also help with the charity part of it. Anything else? Any questions people have?
Any questions? We already have our first sponsor. Thank you to Tri-Counties Bank. We have $2,500 that's been dedicated verbally. I talked to the director today, so we've already got our first sponsor in place. So join us. Any questions?
No, I think this is great. Am I missing the cost of the dinner somewhere? Or,
The ticket prices aren't live yet, but the ticket prices are, so the ticket prices are at $149 per person.
got it.
Yes. But it's a pretty, again, as Melinda talked about, there's a commemorative champagne flute, a pour of fizz champagne. Thank you to our partner. I know, isn't that amazing how that happened? There'll be wine at the table, a full dinner, dessert. So it's a full meal. It's a full evening of fun and art and alcohol. I'm just kidding. And just it's a fun evening that has all those things encompassed together, and you get to take your champagne flute home with you. Any questions?
Tell me more about the sponsored chairs in the Black Box Theater. I didn't quite grasp that.
We can't yet because we haven't worked out all the details. We do know we want to do that. We have to nail down the opportunities and what's that going to look. So we'll bring that back to you.
Well, is that like you sponsor a chair and get your name on the chair? Or
That's
is it
the
a season ticket?
idea. That's the idea, yeah, but we want to work it out and fully flesh it out. We'll bring that back to you so you'll know more. And we'll have that at the event. We'll have more, there'll be more excitement at the event as we bring it to the event because everyone there that night will have the opportunity to do that.
Are you thinking there'll maybe be season passes to our events, or is that not?
I'm not sure I'm not going to give away all my season. Wait a minute.
Just curious,
Yeah.
Want to be on the ground floor.
Lots of things happening, yes. Any other questions?
Yeah, are the master gardeners going to be preparing the meals with organic produce from our garden?
No, they're just going to be there to talk about, it's going to be May, so our garden's going to be rich and bountiful and blooming, and so they're going to really be there to talk about the plant material, and they're changing out a lot of plant material, so they'll just be there to talk about it. We've entered into a contract with a caterer. We're also working with Shangri-La. They're going to be there and provide some appetizers, and we're going to continue to work with some our local restaurants to see what they can do to participate. We're not quite done with nailing all those pieces down, but we're working on it.
Will the dining be within the demonstration garden area?
It will actually be outside of that, just under the trees in our little area that's right there. It's not quite big enough to put it in the demonstration area, and the ground is a little uneven, a little challenging for folks. So we can have better access on the outside of it.
And what are you shooting for in terms of numbers of?
200 attendees, 200.
When do you anticipate the tickets will go live?
I'm sorry?
When do you anticipate the tickets will go live?
March 1st.
So it's gonna sell out. So I recommend to the board, definitely get your tickets soon, definitely do a sponsorship. It's gonna be really amazing. That's that.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
And thank you to Jennifer and Melissa for being here tonight, and for the rest of the team that we have that's working. We've been meeting every week since, January, so they're really dedicated to this. So I want to thank our residents for helping us out on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Jennifer. 20 months. I see a lot of unfamiliar people running in the morning now.
Yeah.
Exciting. Okay, let's move on to audience and public comment on any non-agenda item. So any person may address the board upon any subject within the jurisdiction of the Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District. Each speaker will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Any matter requiring board action will be referred to staff or committee for a report and action at a subsequent meeting.
Just that presentation just spurred a thought. Have you ever considered sponsoring a brick or a seat at the new amphitheater? Much like we have the Rotary did, where you engrave a brick, you buy a brick, And then I heard here, and get your name on the seat.
Yeah,
Great idea, Tom, that's a good idea.
this former Mr. Adopt a Highway, I'm about to adopt anything that will get us some rent a tree, adopt a tree.
Adopt a tree. I like it.
There is an opportunity. Anybody else?
Okay.
All right, so we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And on to our consent calendar, and just so everybody knows, all matters listed on the consent calendar are considered by the board of directors to be routine, will be acted on in a single motion. There will not be a separate discussion of these items unless a request is made prior to the time the board considers the motion of approval. So can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Before we do that, I did want to say that on the minutes from last month, it has incorrectly stated myself as chair instead of Chair Mouse.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to our agenda items. Item 8.1, the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board Report.
Hello, board of directors. My name is Mary Stokely. I am the advisor for the Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board. Unfortunately, Navia was unable to attend tonight, so I'm just going to give you a brief update. The Youth Advisory Board is continuing their work on service projects with the food bank and the Grange, as well as working towards getting a park cleanup crew set up to do monthly cleanups in the parks on the weekends. Additionally, at our previous meeting, we had the pleasure of having Mike and Nick join us and give a little presentation on a little bit more in-depth history about the district, what we do, what we offer, because oftentimes these students don't necessarily get a whole chance to experience the district as a whole. So that was actually a really, really great way for them to get a little bit more involved. We also plugged our upcoming hiring for students, as well as the Rachel Ann Gray Memorial Scholarship, which is closing out applications next week. And we are looking forward to reviewing those. And besides that, we don't have many more updates in terms of events. The students are working on getting donations for the adult Easter egg hunt for the Easter extravaganza coming up in April. They host that as a fundraiser for their group, and that is a way for adults to join in on the fun and have the chance to get some gift cards and really fun things in their eggs as opposed to candy. So they're working on that, and they will be bringing that forward on our upcoming meetings. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along, item 8.2, discussion of possible action on request for board support of the Fair Oaks Water Districts Corporation Yard Redevelopment Plan.
Yeah, and board, this was a letter sent to you from the Fair Oaks Water District and through their general manager, Tom Gray. And staff has no recommendation on this and is now just leaving that up to your consideration on the letter that was received from the water district.
Excellent. I do, and I know we all appreciate the relationship that we've built over the years between our two districts. It's my opinion when it comes to the redevelopment plan and other plans that sort of fall outside the scope of our operational authority, that we do not take an official position against nor in support, but rather remain neutral on this issue. I could go to my fellow directors for any further comment. Director O'Farrell?
I agree with you, Darren. We have a good relationship with the district. My position on the corporation yard has been known for a long time. As a person, I don't support it, but I'm not going to stand in the way of the district, the water district moving forward with it. I would hope that we continue to have a good partnership with the water district, and we work together to continue to improve the vibrancy of the village. And maybe there are some things that you might want to consider about changing the dynamic of the maintenance yard that would make it more appealing and fit more in with what's going on. That's all I'm going to say.
Director Carr?
I support your position there that we should remain neutral. We do very much value our relationship with the water district and good relations our two administrators have. I've expressed my views privately before to one of the directors who we've had some good give and take discussions about it. And I think I've mentioned to you my position, so I'm not going to make my feelings public. I do support the idea that if it ever came push to shove, I would like to get our maintenance facility out of Fair Oaks Park because we're up on the top of a beautiful hill that would make a nice rec center or a replacement for McMillan. I remain supportive of getting our maintenance facility out of our park, but on the water districts, that's your business. I understand construction drawings are underway, so I think our best position is just to stay out of it, mind our own business.
I agree. I think it's best to stay neutral.
All right. This board will take no action on this agenda item.
Do we need to have a position statement that we are neutral? It seems to be that's the consensus. Do you think it's worthwhile to have a statement?
Well, I think that's
What we just, by not, with the verbiage, the way this was written, by not taking any action, we were remaining neutral. Tom?
To Director Carhart's comments, the district would appreciate just a statement that you are neutral, because it's being perpetuated that because of certain actions, what have you, and nothing negative, but it's being perpetuated that the park district supports moving us out because you have a goal of combining with us at another location. And because how that's been played out in the public, it's at least on social media and with some of the advocates would strongly wish that we relocate, that you support that position. So on behalf of the Fair Oaks Water District, it would, I think, be a tremendous help if you did just make a statement that you're neutral. You don't want to be involved, and I very much appreciate that. I wouldn't want to be in front of anything that was going on with your projects with the bond, and so enough said.
I would like to make a motion that the Park District Board of Directors is officially neutral on the topic.
But that is not.
My own opinion is we've taken a position and we're not going to get in the way of it, and we are neutral.
The way it's written up on the agenda, by passing a motion here, I don't think would not accomplish a neutral position. So if we want to revisit that in the future with some different verbiage.
How will this be recorded in the minutes?
Oh, you made the motion that the Park District is officially neutral on the topic, and then there was no second to that?
I think he's saying if that motion fails, I think he's just requesting clarification of by no action being taken on this agenda item, what would that show? Is that what you're asking, Director Carhart?
No, I was just wondering if there'd be some documentation in the minutes that we are neutral on the subject.
There's nothing that would prevent you from making Director Carhart's motion.
Based on how this is written?
Yeah, because just the only thing that concerns me, but if that's the way it is, it just says discussion possible action on request for board support.
And based on this letter, in the letter, it says, FOWD would appreciate consideration for board relative to making public statement of support for the redevelopment project. So we are not, from what I'm hearing, wanting to make a support for that.
So my motion is merely that we remain neutral on the topic.
That's exactly.
If we can alter that on the fly, yeah, I'll entertain a second.
You should be able to do that.
Yes.
I do not see why that is out of bounds in terms of.
Then I'll second
this second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a second?
I did.
Yeah. Director Irwin.
Okay.
If I may, thank you. We appreciate that. It was probably an overstretch to ask for support and totally understand why you wouldn't want it. But thank you for at least stating for the record that you're neutral. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom. Okay, the next two items, 8.3 and 8.4, both receive and file, and we will move on to an 8.5, discussion and possible action on approval of application for Land and Water Conservation Fund grant monies.
All right, good evening, Board of Directors. I am Sean Ventura, Parks and Facilities Manager. I'm here before you today to recommend approval of an application for a grant for Land and Water Conservation Fund monies. The deadline is fast approaching. It will occur on June 1st, 2023. And if we are seeking to ask for some of this funding, we're going to have to get rolling pretty quick. As part of this process, if we do receive these funds, it would place a park where we spend that funding under certain restrictions, which I've outlined in my board report here. Essentially, a restriction on new development that limits or reduces the amount of outdoor, free to the public recreation that's available in that park space. Some examples are widening roads or adding new roads, building a community center, stuff like that. Restroom buildings and support amenities like that are not typically included in the restrictions. But there is an estimated $30 million available as part of this grant program. Individual organizations can apply for up to $6 million. The district is aiming to use those funds, if we can, on Phoenix Park, because in around 2004, 2005, we received LWCF funding at that park already. Therefore, that park is already under those same LWCF restrictions. As I've outlined in my report, using it at other locations like Fair Oaks limits the ability to put any future potential community centers or other indoor recreation opportunities there. Vista, likewise, we are only leasing it. We would need to own the property in order to spend this funding there. And the village would limit the amount of indoor recreation options that are not free to the public that we would place there. It seems to make sense to staff that Phoenix Park would be a place where we could apply for this funding again. I'm not sure if you've seen the updated board report that we sent over, because there was a little snafu on which one got uploaded. At the end
I was
of
just
my,
trying to check it, and my link is bad.
No, I did have a read of it, so.
yeah, apologies for that. You got the first draft, and we had to re-upload the second draft on that one. That's,
It should be up if you refresh your.
Oh, there's your website. So the one. Anything now?
The staff report is.
Yeah.
Something supplemental to the staff report?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have a question. You apply for this, do we apply for a certain amount of money? Do we specify what we would use it for?
yes.
You're just asking for approval to move ahead to prepare the proposal.
So we would be asking for something specific, and that was the problem with the version that I had uploaded. So you may not have all the up-to-date information on that. We are specifically looking to fund projects out at Phoenix Park in that main central undeveloped area where it's currently in flux. It was going to be girls softball fields, but we leased La Vista, so we're moving girls softball fields there. And we need to have help with funds to put some new amenity in that central
But
area.
it's unspecified as to what that would be.
Indeed, and
It could
that's
be bike park, it could be parking lot, it could be anything.
correct. As part of the process, we would be going to public outreach to see what the local community is interested in that location. It would potentially be rolled into Phoenix Park Master Plan development if we move forward with that in the future. And we're going to try and get community feedback as well as staff input and try and get something that's correct out there while also alleviating the huge impact on parking we have in that park altogether.
So would we have outreach before you prepare the proposal for Parks and Rec? Or-
In tandem, really. We'd have to get on it fairly quickly to be able to have enough and readily available public outreach meetings for everyone that we want to reach. And so we probably start the LWCF application process, but leave maybe the exact ask amount and the complete project description a little nebulous until we hammer that in a little bit further.
And we have done some community outreach out there prior to the decision to move the softball fields to La Vista. And parking is that, obviously, was part of that process. And so we know that parking will be part of that overall community desire for that area. And so it will be part of it. So we can at least do that much of it and know that we have more coming.
So I have two concerns. One is that, obviously when you go for the grant, you have to have a very compelling project and you have to be as specific as you can to be competitive. That's one thing. So, at this point, we don't know. We'd have to go through a process and we'd want that to be completed in order to submit it to Parks and Rec. Second thing is, we have other things besides that park and that site. For example, improvement or replacement of the McMillan Center. Has there been a thought of looking at more than just this one particular project site for this application, or can we develop concurrently, a project to expand, renovate, do something with McMillan Center, which has long been on our list of to-dos, and rentable and income generating?
Unfortunately, with the Land and Water Conservation Fund, we cannot use it to build indoor paid recreation. It has to be outdoor free recreation.
Okay.
And if we do pick a park site, it prohibits us from easily, I will say there are some caveats to this, from easily ever again building indoor for money recreation, paid recreation.
Oh, it would prohibit any of that if we did something at Fair Oaks Park, like fund pickleball courts or fund a new skate park or things like that?
Pickleball courts and skate parks would be outdoor free recreation. So we could potentially do that. That sort of thing isn't an issue, but we wouldn't be able to then build also a renovated McMillan Center or community center.
Under the grant proposal, but I mean, we could theoretically go for money to build the pickleball courts and the replacement skate park at Fair Oaks Park and not tie our hands in the future.
No, it would tie our hands.
Oh, it would.
It would make it so that that park site could not, without approval of the California Parks and Recreation Society, essentially, building any future indoor.
Anywhere in that park.
Correct, in that.
Oh, I
park site.
understand that.
So that's our primary reason for picking Phoenix Park, as it already is under those restrictions. As part of the application of this, the district is hoping to get to a approximate $4 million ask. One of the big concerns with this grant program is that it isn't yes, you are approved for your grant, here's 50% up front. We would have to, as a district, be able to essentially bankroll the entire project and say, we have the funds to do this project with or without your help. We do have roughly $1.5 million of Measure J funds already allocated to Measure J projects at Phoenix Park that have yet to commence. which could be rolled in there, which is another way to stretch Measure J funds and really help them to go further to provide amenities for the public. We also would be able to use impact and lieu fees, and potentially a little from the California Special District Association, hopefully to bring us up to a funding total of about $4 million. And then 50% of that would essentially be reimbursed as part of this grant program.
One more question. What do you think would be most competitive to go for? Bike park, obviously not just parking lot. Girls softball fields there instead of La Vista. What are we thinking?
I personally don't have druthers on that. I think any new amenity does have to be matched with additional parking possibilities in that park, or we will shoot ourselves in the foot.
As an adjunct to something more amenable to parks.
Correct. Yeah, I think that we would do well, and this is just my personal opinion, not going with girls softball fields, as we are still planning on updating those fields over at La Vista and renovating that space. And it is a pretty sizable complex for American River girls softball. I think it would be good service to them. Personally, I would say that a mixed use amenity out there, maybe not just a baseball diamond, maybe not just a bike park, maybe not just a big splash pad, but a little mix of something for everybody could go a long way.
Expanded children's area and maybe a complex of pickleball courts or something.
But we do have a lot of options. I'm really interested in hearing what the community thinks.
Sure. Well, we need to go to them with a menu of potential things that would be suitable there.
That we most certainly will do.
Let's go for the money.
So, but we have to apply before we're going out to get people's opinion. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, we can do public outreach to better firm up what our plan will be, our project description that we then apply for the LWCF funds for.
When does it have to be submitted?
June 1st, 2023. Just put us on a tight timeline.
Because obviously, I just want to make sure, I support this, but I want to make sure we're not going to them with a large ask for money without a clearly identified thing, because they're never, to Director Cards, never going to fund that, and it'd be a waste of all of our time if we don't have something clear, because it's
so we need
very
to
suspicious.
We need to have at least preliminary public outreach well in advance of that date, so that we at least may not have the exact design or anything else, but we have a consensus on what we want to do there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to expedite this, the hope is to utilize a firm that's familiar with the park, do the outreach, do some outreaches out there in the community, and as we get an indication of where this might be going, use that same firm to begin the process of putting the elements together. So it's going to be kind of, as Sean was mentioning, we're going to be running these things parallel. And but I think we'll be okay, because you will know roughly after a few outreach that the community is supportive of X, whatever X is. And we know that parking's part of this.
So, okay, just so I understand the timeline, we're putting together a project for $4 million. This is the plan for $4 million, expecting $2 million back. So I also just read it. I mean, the budgeting is very important, because if we end up having cost overruns and we go over budget, we're still only going to get the $2 million, correct?
We're not going to be able to go over budget.
Right. So we're going to need to be, buttoned up.
So ultimately, whatever we get from them, we have to match it.
Well, we have to pay first.
Yeah, we have to fund
everything.
Reimbursement.
But we're guaranteed the money before we obviously start.
Yes.
Because we'll be approved, so we're not really, we're floating it, but
yeah. And we know still have to do parking over there, so some of this work will not be in vain. And no matter what, whatever outreach we do, if it doesn't come up through LWCF, we will continue to seek funding for whatever the outreach shows.
So do we have bond money that we can commit to something there?
We have dedicated money for the parking at Phoenix right now.
Gardens there.
Yeah, right.
And we would need to lock in a location, obviously.
If you approve this application, it would be for that central area of Phoenix and the surrounding area of that. That's what we're asking to apply for.
Well, are we should our motion specify this particular site or just for Phoenix Park? And leave that rest open.
That, I believe, would also be acceptable.
It would be acceptable. I think, if I look at the greatest need at Phoenix Park, and that's just me speaking, it's that open space that we've got to deal with. Now, the public may come back and say, leave it open space and leave it weeds, but I kind of doubt that's what happens.
So, let's fast forward. So we get the money. We got to commit $4 million. We need $2 million. Does that mean we give up the parking? Do we have more money for the parking? Because we can't use this money on parking. Right?
It can be amenities for the development, yeah.
So, but I thought I heard Sean say it can't be in place of any outdoor recreation.
Your current area right now, you're not replacing any outdoor recreation.
Okay, so that's the nuance. Yeah. But they could look at it and say, well, this could be recreation.
Well, yeah. This gravel lot you've been using for parking for 20 years.
Okay.
Could be.
Well,
That's
all
what I
right.
said.
I think the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
As it always is with something like this, especially when we're making that kind of a commitment. And I need a lot more information as we move forward, and I'm sure the rest of the board does too.
Oh, yes.
Well,
You will have to
go
approve the
ahead
plan.
and
Yeah,
do
this
the
is just
groundwork.
to get the application in.
And that's fine.
And with that, I would propose, or I would like to see a board workshop as well before we even go out and do the community. So we can talk about priorities too that we would like to see and make sure are brought to the community as well.
So I would make a motion that we approve the staff making an application for grant funds through Parks and Rec Land and Water Conservation Fund, including planning a workshop and outreach to determine the specifics.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Let's get it in.
Thank you.
And
Chair, we did have somebody who raised their hand at the beginning of this last agenda item. So I'm unaware if it's for a past agenda item or this one that just finished. If you'd like to listen to what their comment was.
yeah, that's fine.
So Joe, we've asked you to unmute, so you can go ahead and now make your public comment and just let us know what agenda item this was.
I was trying to get your attention on 8.2. And I'm unclear. It sounds like you talked a lot about individual opinions, but on the board, I hope you would be respecting the organizational integrity of another public agency and to make decisions about their matters, whether you agreed with it or not. And I think, though, looking in the future, does that mean for you that other agencies like the county or maybe the county parks and stuff then could say, no, we're going to step in to make this their jurisdiction? And so I think the implications, I think that was rather quick. And CPAC, for CPAC, that already went through and it was approved. And so I hope you're not suggesting that as taxpayers out here, we have to redo another whole process and kind of going to make a kind of a plea to the county to do it over or something. That doesn't seem right either. So I got confused in that whole discussion. And I think it sounds more like to me for a little more politics than what I would like to see.
Joe, did you hear the motion?
Yeah, you're neutral individually, I think.
No, as a board. We made a motion. You make a motion as a board, not an individual.
Well, that's what I was hoping in addressing that point is that I hope you're for the integrity of your organization to make, opinions in your realm as well as other public agencies to make their best, recommendations and do actions that they have investigated too.
That was the point, Joe, of my motion to officially say that we're neutral on the issue.
Thank you, Joe.
As always.
Okay, where were we? 8.6, discussion and possible action on bond oversight committee bylaws change.
Yeah, thank you. And what this is here is your bond oversight committee was formed because of Measure J. The bond oversight committee was appointed by the board of directors. Here, the bylaws were approved by the board of directors. It is an advisory board, and their job is to, in independent citizen oversight committee, they're required to review bond expenditures and to ensure bond proceeds are spent only for the projects listed in the bond project list. Because of COVID-19, all of our projects were delayed, of course, and delayed in terms of probably 2 years. And so the bond, when you pass these bylaws, we made assumptions that we would be further along in these projects than we currently are. And so having a sunset clause for the committee members' terms made sense. At this point in time, we have some board members that have almost reached the limit of their term limits according to the bylaws. We are requesting a change in the bylaws from this term. Right now it reads, each member shall serve a term of 1 year commencing on the date of their appointment by the board. No member may serve more than 5 consecutive 1-year terms. We would like to change it to each member shall serve a term of 1 year commencing on the date of their appointment by the board and may be reappointed to as many successive terms as board of directors shall determine. You will still approve the reappointment of the board, of the committee members, but that 5-year sunset on their membership will no longer exist.
So how much longer will we have the oversight committee? A year, 2 years?
Once the bond funds are expended and then the last audit is completed, then they will dissolve.
And do we have an estimate of how long that'll be? Is it 5 years, 2 years?
I do not know. I before the pandemic, I might have given you an option. But with the land and water conservation funds, coming in, and if we get those, that's obviously going to extend some of our timelines in expending those funds.
So I assume the staff or you would make the recommendation as to whether to continue. You'd come to us, we'd endorse that.
Yeah, you still have to reappoint those board members as you have been.
Do we have a big waiting list of people that want to get on the oversight committee?
When we've had I want to say 3 members, and I'm not 100% sure on that, but we've had more than one. I know that, and we have had past candidates that we've notified and said, hey, would you like to apply again? We've also had people from the community, when we advertise it, apply. And so we do have interest every time we put it out there. And it's great to have that kind of interest. So with some of our bond oversight committee members, I mean, you have your chair right here was one. And we also have a volunteer with the Arts and Entertainment right now that is on the bond oversight. And you have Eric who ran for the board as a bond oversight. So it's been a very active group. It's a great group to have as kind of an arm of the Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District.
Oh, I was going to say, it sounds like a reasonable amendment to provide a little bit more flexibility in terms of, what we've faced in the past and how we're moving forward.
I had a couple questions. So I recall that it did go to formerly Director O'Farrell and my committee to approve. We would get the things, we would make the recommendation to the board, or it'd go through our committee, and then we would approve it all as board. Want to make sure that's staying the same. We go through committee first, good. And then secondly, that we do still, if somebody is coming up, that we do still allow for new people to apply. I want to make sure that we would still allow that.
I agree. That's a great point. If there is we'll work that into the process. I don't think it needs to be a bylaw, but what would happen is if we have an opening, we would announce that opening, and just like anything else, you would make a decision, whether it be a current member or a new member.
Right. And it would give us the opportunity, if we wanted to bring in a new member, or keep and retain. Okay.
Well, that would mean we would have to lose a little bit.
You wouldn't.
It wouldn't a big loss because their term would be expiring. So whether or not we would reappoint them
Or have a nice, you're saying,
Yeah, exactly.
So really, all we're approving is just the change in the wording, the amendment to the bylaws.
Correct.
Yeah.
Process remains.
So I will make the motion to approve item 8.6.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to 8.7, discussion and possible action on adoption of resolution to establish claims handling delegation of authority.
Yes, thank you. This item comes to you from a training that we attended with Capri a couple of weeks ago. When a claim comes to us, we always send it to Capri right away, no matter how much it's for. But we do occasionally get really small claims, like for fence repair or $300 for a tree branch that fell over and knocked something over, that by statute, you can allow district administrator to handle instead of bringing it to you in a board meeting. It shortens the claim time for the claimant, and it also keeps it off of your agenda, so you don't have to include it. There's a resolution that went to you that would allow Mike or any of his designee to handle any claims that are less than $2,000. And of course, if there would not be expenditures outside of the district's budget. So if it wasn't something that the district could pay for, obviously.
So let me understand. Usually when it's a big claim, we don't deal with it. We turn it over to Capri. Do we ever directly pay for anything small?
Yeah, we have.
But you don't
This is
come
the
up-
impetus behind something. We realized we were not in compliance.
You'd have to come to us to pay.
Yeah, we should have come to you.
$100 claim.
And we did not. I did not.
Do you
I
say
gotta
it
say,
was Capri?
it was a fence, as an example. It was a good neighbor fence, a couple $100, and we paid for the fence.
So is that something where you just consult with Capri and then they say, yeah, just so everything's legal and they can come back
No,
on
when we
it?
send them a claim, it becomes a claim, and then it goes through their process. So we did not consult with Capri
We did not
on
consult.
that.
Now, would this apply to any large claim too that you're delegating?
No.
$2,000.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Read the report.
My question with that is, it seems based on how it's written, that it's general liability claims specifically.
Yes.
So where does a fence fall into a general liability? Because to me, that sounds like property. A fence falling is property, general
Well,
liability. would
it's
be
all
insurance.
under that umbrella. It's all under the liability umbrella.
So liability umbrella would include property.
Yes.
So I guess I would want to see specifically what are we including in that? What is the actual perils that we are including in that? Because, and I'm not saying our split, we have an amazing district and I trust our team entirely, but I guess I would just get nervous of, all these $2,000 claims, $199 claims are coming out. What is that? How are we accounting for that? And making sure that that's, very succinct
It would be
and
very
correct.
rare that we do it, but yeah, I understand that.
And you do have the option of not authorizing that. That's very understandable.
We can continue the same process that we would.
And I won't do another
So you
fence
said
without
that you-
approval.
you would
I don't mind
do
a fence.
And this is a common practice.
This is standard.
Same, okay, well, that's good to know.
Who's your designee?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have one right now.
But yeah, so would that be as far as like on your side, would it be, Mike, would it be something that comes to you, just your eye see it, or how would that look on?
Generally, it wouldn't even be a claim, but we wouldn't turn it into Capri, and I would probably consult with staff to determine what this cost might look like. And if it was really something for goodwill, or we did that serious pushback for a fence, or its neighbor's been very good to us, I would just say yes, as long as it was within a reasonable price. But if it was something crazy, and it didn't even make any sense, I wouldn't have not approved it.
I think if we
It's
can,
a little bit of judgment call on my
Yeah.
part, I guess that's the point.
I think we can just put more specifically kind of what types of things that should be for, what types of claims, then I'm okay with that.
So I assume if it was something you were on the fence, no pun intended, on the fence about, you would come to us for it.
Yeah, or we would take the claim, deny it, send it to Capri, and then it would go through the normal
No, I mean,
process.
if it's under 2,000 and you're not sure yourself, you can always still bring it to us, even though you.
Oh, yeah,
can
there's
delegate.
nothing saying that.
We would just send it off to Capri. And then have it.
But it would still come.
Yeah, still come to you.
It would always come.
We would just officially send it over to Capri.
So if we don't have any more questions, I would move the staff recommendation.
Second. Darren,
All in
second.
favor? All,
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to items from the board of directors. Director O'Farrell, do you have anything?
No, just that the oysters and the caviar at Shangri-La tonight were quite tasty. And
And was this a special night?
apparently they did it for Valentine's Day, and then they did it again tonight.
That's some extras, yeah, good.
You need to get your champagne in there.
Yeah. Definitely. Director Dwayne.
I don't have anything.
Director Carl.
I think the only thing I recall is I went to the event at the, the Cooperative Extension Gardens there. Call that. Can't remember the name of it, but it was amazing to see what they've done there. I think that's a wonderful community partner to have there. I was very impressed. I hadn't been to the back part of the facilities in some time. And they had quite a successful event Saturday.
Nothing. Really, the only thing I have that actually just the property and the fence stuff brought up is whatever happened with the Manana property line over there by Gum Ranch? Because I remember we had a presentation, they were trying to get us to give them the land, and then we sort of said, hey, we want to see some sort of assessment, appraisal of the property, and where are we with that?
So we are still waiting for property assessors to come back to us with numbers. The neighbors there reserve the services of their own assessor, who is working on just the small section of land that they're looking to gain from us. And the district retained the services of our own assessor to do the overall part property there. So what we're going to do is, because we need the value of that extra property anyways for our insurance, so we're going to use that as kind of a double check on the numbers that we're going to get from the property owners to compare and contrast. But neither one of our assessors are working as quickly as I would hope. So we are currently waiting.
So the ball's in their court right now?
Yes.
It's just been quite a few months, and that's sparked my memory.
More than a year, right?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Okay, well, I think that's it from board. Unless anybody else has any questions, we'll move to items from the staff. I believe you have something?
Yeah, I'm going to defer to Chelsea.
Okay.
Good evening, Board of Directors. My name is Chelsea Adams. I'm a Recreation Supervisor for the Fair Oaks Recreation Park District. And I have a little quick slideshow. I'll be fast. I'm here tonight to share with you that we are now using our registration platform, SmartRec, to receive fundraising for our Don Rawls Scholarship. So just a little bit of background for those that are not aware, we have our Don Rawls Memorial Scholarship. It's in memory of a past board member that served on our board of directors, and he was in huge support of recreation, especially theater and the arts. The scholarship is available to youth and seniors in our community, and it provides up to 80% funding for them to participate in our programs. It is awarded each guide period to a participant as long as they meet the requirements on our application. The funds are limited, so we try to spread them out as much as we can. And we've gotten a lot more interest since Mary's been including it on a lot of our flyers that have been going out to our local schools. So SmartRec is obviously, like I said, is our registration software. So they recently added a module in there called fundraising, which allows us to add the Don Rawls Scholarship as like a campaign in our storefront. We launched it on January 26th. And since then, we have raised $35. So right now, if anyone wants to click a button on our website or go through our storefront directly, they can see at the top there's a tab called fundraising, and they can donate directly right there, give them a little bit of information. Or in this example, when they're checking out, it shows up at the top and asks them if they would like to donate to the Don Ross Scholarship. It kind of tells them what their funds might cover, the amount that they give, and then it also, when they check out and they finalize their checkout, they receive the tax ID number so they can report it at tax time. I think it's going to be a really great way to continue to build those funds so that we continue to provide recreation opportunities for more in the future. And thank you very much. If you have any questions or anything or ideas, let us know.
Do you believe you have something to do?
Good evening, Board of Directors. Neil Whitmore, Arts Entertainment Manager. A couple of items. First, I want to let you know that our Miss Kenya Padilla has joined me in the old library building as our new Arts Entertainment Associate. She's getting her feet wet and getting lots of support from folks like Chelsea and the rest of the rec team to get up to speed. So I apologize she's not here tonight. She had something else to do. She had a family engagement already scheduled. But feel free to drop by sometime and meet her. She's a nice young lady, and I'm looking forward to working with her. She came to us from UC Davis. She's a political science major, and she got involved with the student union and put on concerts and got engaged in the arts, and so she just, she knows how to run a soundboard. I'm so excited. And so she's a really nice young lady. I'm really glad to have her on our team. In addition, I am here to, first of all, apologize for not having a staff report, but we would like to get your okay to move forward with an application to the Sacramento TOT grant. That grant information just came down to us, last week, and we've discussed it internally. We're going to look at it. I'm going to attend the grant webinar tomorrow. We would be doing that under the foundation. We need the 501c3 to make the application. We have a couple of ideas to go forward with it. And one of them is to support, if you will, the opening season for the theater and all of those engagements. And the other area we're looking at is the FF&E, the furniture and fixtures and equipment that we may need for the black box. So I'm going to gauge which direction we need to go by tomorrow. The total grant is $50,000. They have two scoring mechanisms when they look at the grant. One is merit. Does it meet their ability to support tourism, which we feel very strongly that the black box and the amphitheater does support the tourism vision of the TOT grant. And the other side is getting some district support. So I'll be working with Mike and working with some of the supervisors in our area to see if we can get them to support our application as well. The application is open now. It is due by March 3rd. And so again, I apologize you don't have information in writing. I'm open to any questions, and hopefully you'll be okay with us moving forward with the application.
A quick background, the foundation has supported the TOT grant in prior years that we applied for. It's not an uncommon practice.
So this comes from the large TOT pot, transient occupancy tax.
Correct.
Hotel motel tax.
Correct.
So this is not out, obviously this is not out of Supervisor Desmond's funds. He
Correct.
also gets, each of the supervisors gets an allocation as well. So is there something that we might want from him in his pot as well?
That certainly is not in my purview. That it's in the district administrator's purview to make that ask. But
One of the questions
sure.
we've gotten out of the past has been through Fair Oaks Youth Advisory Board. So not sure if we'll be pursuing that this year.
Okay.
The total pot is $1 million, so they're very tight with what they support as the grant program.
So we're able to just give our blessing to that? I mean, generally, though, So it doesn't have to be an agenda.
It's a foundation issue,
Okay.
so that's where it would come back to if it did. So I'm not really sure procedurally if you go to the board, if we were to go officially through this and said, hey, board, could we apply for a TOT, use the foundation? And you would say, yeah, we support it, the foundation supports it. Then as a foundation, you've got to vote, hey, foundation, can we use your number on the application? You have to say, yeah, you're good.
So
it's a weird set is what I'm getting at.
But it'll come back because we would have to adjourn into the foundation. So it would come back once it's all done for us to approve, correct?
In what fashion would it come back?
To have a formal.
Foundation to enter into.
Because I mean, if the foundation has to prove it, we are not in the foundation.
Correct, and
It would have probably be a special meeting. I believe the application's
That's
due
one
on
of
the
the
3rd.
Yeah, I would just.
the application's on 30, if you, yeah, we can do it that way.
Well, we can convene a special meeting of the foundation
Okay.
for the approval of that, if that's what your desire is.
You certainly want to go after every grant opportunity there is and not put roadblocks in the way. And that goes for the supervisor with discretionary money and TOT and anything else you want to cover.
We're keeping our eyes out on every level, trust me.
So this has to be in by when?
March 3rd,
We're sitting on February 15th, so what are we asking to?
or I'm sorry, March 13th, my apologies, March
Okay, but
13th.
that's still before our next meeting.
That's before your next meeting.
Well, couldn't we just change the date of the March meeting?
Of the board meeting?
Yeah.
That'd be-
Rather than have a special
That
meeting?
would be up to the board. It's an unusual
You said it's.
use.
Well, So we need to go into the foundation. So how you propose to do that?
We would request a special meeting of the
Yeah.
foundation.
Okay.
And
You only need 3.
I think we just do that. You can do it on Zoom.
Do it on Zoom, yeah.
Yeah, you probably do that too.
and we're still under.
No, we can't.
Yeah.
We had that conversation last
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
It's in person.
Is it, we didn't have, was that not in our consent, the reapprove the emergency? That's done. Oh, God bless. That's fine.
It
Well,
would be very.
I'm close to the village, so,
Sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
if we get money, we'll hightail it down here to have a special meeting.
Well, it'd be before the application, before we submit. So that's when because otherwise,
Maybe next week.
might be a little bit longer, but yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be tight on that timeframe.
Next week would be good. I will have more information. I'll be attending the webinar on Friday. And so is Mike and Nick. We're going to sit on the webinar and get more details, but we would definitely have more.
And also, it'd be nice to have a staff report.
Okay,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Agreed.
thank you.
Thank you.
Sean, do you have anything?
I do not have anything.
A couple of quick things. Last week, I was invited to attend the PARMA conference. That's the Public Agency Risk Management Association in Sacramento. My fees were paid by our insurance carrier. They invited me to go, which was, I believe, an honor for the district, for anybody to go to that conference who's not in the risk management field. They felt that it was something that we not necessarily could benefit from, but something that was it's not that we're too risky, it's that they thought it was good for us, I guess. And we're a good entity to go, and got a lot out of it, and I just wanted to let you know that it was I believe it's an honor for the district to have somebody selected from us to go to that conference.
Nice.
Good job, Mike. And then a construction update, you've asked for those. This is great news, actually. We have ordered park furniture last year, and for this project. We ordered 22 garbage cans, 13 tables and sets, 6 benches, 1 tabletop, 1 ADA table, 6 chairs for the above tables, mounting hardware, and we ordered and paid for that in January of 2022. The total with shipping was $113,000 and $113,187. And today's cost, $147,617. We saved a total with shipping of over $61,000. Yeah. So it was great moves. And that stuff is coming though. That's not happy that it's on its way. But we did save $61,000. And that brings me to my next part, my construction update. When you approved that space in the Arts and Crafts building for storage. They hustled through that, and we will be able to put that equipment into that space. So thank you for doing that. We would probably have to put that at the yard, and I'm sure Sean would appreciate that equipment in the yard.
Or maybe Sean's office.
Yeah. The parking lots, I think I mentioned before, are opened on California, Temescal, and Park. That's 36 parking spots that are now open for use. We're getting prepared to pour the slab for the theater. That will be hopefully next week, if everything goes as planned right now. So watch for that. That's a big move, is to pour that slab.
Take a nail and put your name.
I'm not going to tell you exactly when it's going to be poured. The light poles and fixtures have been delivered. They're in the park now, so we'll be starting to install those shortly. All the light pole mounts are finished, so that's something that's scheduling right now. The seat walls are poured on the corner of Park and Temescal and Park and Main. You can see those as you walk by. And today they started on the new 12-inch storm line on Temescal. And so you'll start seeing some of that work as we go forward. So things are moving right along.
So Mike, do you know what they're going to do about the grade change in front of the new community?
I'm glad I'm not an engineer.
They shared with you, it looks like it's considerably higher than the grade of the Plaza Park.
I think it's probably 18 inches higher. You're absolutely right. They're aware of it. They've got a plan. I don't know what it is. But yeah, I have no idea how that blends into it.
See how they
Yeah.
resolve that.
Yeah, that'll be one of the last parking areas we finish up.
Is that it?
Yep, that's it.
So we're still on time for, when was the last meeting?
January 2024.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're still on time. Okay.
We have a deal where they get paid the bonus if they get done early. Do we?
I know they're penalized if they're late, but I don't know about the bonus.
We don't know if they have.
I thought we did put a bonus. I feel like it was.
I can look that up and bring it to you.
10,000. Okay, for every day, for
yeah.
Anyway.
And if you do look that up, is there a cap on the bonus?
CC Myers.
To finish next week, we're done, we're out of here.
Used to bankrupt Caltrans. We did
Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we are adjourned.